Back with another review for the Keanu-thon, and it's a little bit brighter. But today, talking about and reviewing the 2003 sequel, The Matrix Reloaded. And to me, this is an entertaining sequel. And I know for most people, they disregard the sequels, that, there shouldn't have been a trilogy, that the first film is the best, and that, the sequels, have been crapped on over the years, and so on and so forth. But I'll disagree. To me, I enjoyed the sequels. And this is, I feel, in ways, it's underrated. And again, I know some people out there are going to disagree, again, that, this is the worst trilogy, or, again, they disregard the sequels, and... But to me, it's a lot of fun. And the story here is, with this film, you have, again, our main character, Neo, once again, played by Keanu Reeves. Now that he's possessed, not possessed, that'd be a different movie. But, he has all these powers, with the super speed and ability, how you see at the end of the first movie where he flies off, and ability to, see the code embedded in the Matrix. And he begins to find out his role as the One, now that he's the One. And he starts experiencing nightmares about Trinity, Carrie-Anne Moss, her character being killed. And they kind of show that in the beginning of the film. Like this little opening action scene where Trinity's fighting these security guards, and fun bits of action. And then you have the one scene where she goes out the window in slow-mo, and she gets hit by a bullet, and they touch on that throughout the film. And so, you got that going on with Neo, and, meanwhile, back in Zion, again, which is this refuge city, for the last of the human race, there's this war that's getting ready to happen, where you have all these sentinels that are getting ready to attack, Zion. And they got, so little time to figure out and make a plan. And, meanwhile, and that's where you have, Morpheus back and his crew and some new characters and faces. And meanwhile, Neo seeks the help of the Oracle. And she gives him advice to, hey, find this keymaker, who is being held captive by this guy, this Frenchman, played by Lambert Wilson, I believe. And he's a program that, he's powerful and dangerous, and he's known as the Merovingian. And he will come back for the third one. But, as Neo learns about the history of the Matrix and what he must do to stop this war and so on, and this attack on Zion, he's faced with the ultimate question, to save Trinity or end this war. And that's kind of the story of the film. Again, quick nutshell story, but, and like I said before in the opening of the film, I can get that out of the way for a second. Matrix Reloaded, to me, it's an entertaining film, sequel, installment. And again, I mentioned how even from jump, from the opening scene, Trinity, you got some bits of action. And where, the first film, I put it over there, it's more of like a introduction of Neo, this character, and this build-up of this character. And then in this film, it's about, this war, this attack on Zion, and Neo discovering more about being the One, and meanwhile, again, trying to save Trinity, with, more beats of action, and so on and so forth. But, get into the cast, Keanu Reeves does a great job once again as Neo. You also have, Laurence Fishburne, he's back as Morpheus, and he's good in the film. Carrie-Anne Moss is back as Trinity, she does a great job. And then you have some new characters in this film. I mean, you have the character of Link, I forgot that actor's name that played Link. I want to get that actor's name. See if I can pull this up here. I'll go on Wikipedia. Harold Perrineau. I think that's how you pronounced it. I may have messed it up, but I liked his character in the film as his character Link. Um, you also have the character of Niobe, who was played by Jada Pinkett Smith, wife of Will Smith, and she was good in the film. I liked her character. Uh, and again, you have the Oracle come back, Gloria Foster, which, they filmed this in 2001, the sequel. So, let's see, saw it somewhere. Yeah, the film, because that actress that played Oracle, she passed away like a year or two after the first movie, and they filmed this before she passed because this was actually filmed between March of '01 and August of '02, and then again with Revolutions. But getting back to what I was saying, the Oracle, she comes back in the film. You have the Keymaker, who is played by Randall Duck Kim. Has a role as, again, this Keymaker. He was good in the film. Lambert Wilson as the Frenchman, or the Merovingian. Again, this kind of pompous character, this program. And, the architect, which that's the part that, and I'll get to that. But you also have the twins in the film, the ghost twins, which, there's some fun stuff with that, especially on the freeway scene. Some fun, really good action. But overall, good cast with some new faces. And that's why I enjoyed about this film. But, once again, Wachowski's come back to direct. They do a great job. And, this was the biggest, I think, as far as like box office, this was the most successful one of the franchise. Budget was between, according to Wikipedia, between 127 and 150 million, somewhere in that neighborhood, and it made over like $742 million. So again, big hit. But again, Wachowski's did a great job directing once again, and even like scenes in the film. I mean, some really cool scenes in the film. I mean, we're in the beginning. You start off with that, with Trinity, her character. Then you have a little bit where Neo fights some agents in the film in the beginning, and because he has that line, upgrades, and he has a little bit there. And then he does the Superman jump, and that's where Link is like, he's doing a Superman thing. And that was a pretty cool little touch they added to that character, as part of his abilities. And then you got the stuff at Zion, the city of Zion, which, that stuff, talking about that, that stuff was okay. I mean, when you get to the Zion, I like the look of the like this Zion city. Well, it's kind of like an industrial type of world where it's very machine run, run, whatever. But, it's operated by machines, and you got this one Commander Locke character and the council. Interesting, look for Zion, and again, everything is ran by machines, sort of this industrial look. And again, once again, the visuals look great. Special effects was great. And then I also forgot about the character Seraph. I forgot about that character because leading up to meeting the Oracle, he meets his character Seraph, and apparently Jet Li was up for that part. The role of Seraph was originally written for Jet Li, specifically Jet Li, and he asked for the same amount of money as Keanu Reeves. But the role was then changed to a female and offered to Michelle Yeoh, who turned it down due to scheduling conflicts. So I guess, they couldn't meet Jet Li's demands, which would have been cool to see Jet Li in this movie. Jet Li and Keanu Reeves have a fight in that tea house. It would have been cool. But, getting back to talking about some of the scenes of the film, of course you have to talk about, the Burly Brawl in the park where Neo fights all the Agent Smith clones because his character comes back, and now that this villain is a little bit different, where he's part of it. He's part of Neo, so to speak. And again, that it's just it's a lot of fun. You know, the park scene where he's fighting all these clones, and I mean, yeah, I understand like CGI is not spectacular, but it's fun to watch, especially when he gets the pole and he's going do 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 do. He takes taking out all the clones. Really fun stuff. And so you got that fight, and then later on the freeway, you got the stuff with the ghost twins. That was really good action scenes on the freeway, well shot. You got the stuff in this mansion, of the Frenchman's place, and Keanu's fighting guys over here with swords and sais, and just taking names, and it's really fun. And again on the freeway scene where Morpheus, is trying to protect the Keymaker, and you have the Ghost Twins over here, then you have an agent over here, and there's chaos going back and forth, and you have the agent that jumps on the car, and just really fun stuff, really good action, well shot action on the freeway. And apparently, yeah, GM donated 300 cars for use in production of the movie, and all 300 cars were wrecked. So that's pretty cool. I mean, if you talk about stuff like, okay, I know the one scene that everybody talks about is the architect scene, or Colonel Sanders, because he looks like Colonel Sanders. Yeah, that scene I could probably do without, because it kind of slows the film down to a crawl a little bit. I know originally it says right here Sean Connery was going to play the architect, but he could not understand the concept of the movie. And he mentions this on an interview of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen DVDs. So it would have been. I probably would have liked to have seen Sean Connery as the architect. Now I'm thinking about it, talking to Keanu. But I mean, yeah, that stuff, the scenes with the architect, I probably could have done without. But as far as like the rest of the film, there's a lot of great action beats and suspense, and Neo's abilities, expanding on that, expanding on sort of this universe. And that's what I really enjoy about this film and the sequel, is that it expanded on, more about Zion and, these other characters, and the new faces. And so, yeah, I really enjoy that. And like, yeah, I mentioned that, the highest grossing film in the franchise. But, again, really enjoy some of the chances they took with this film, and then get into the third film. But as far as like other stuff to mention, the Broly Brawl in the park where he fights the clones, that took 27 days to shoot. There were several injuries on set, like Carrie-Anne Moss broke her leg training for a wire stunt. Laurence Fishburne fractured her arm during a training incident. And then Hugo Weaving put out a disc in his neck while being pulled back on a wire. The Wachowskis, they were approached to direct Batman Begins, but turned it down to do the Matrix sequels. I wonder what the Wachowskis would have done with Batman Begins, though, but I don't know, we'll never find out. But, and I know around this time, too, like, I remember the hype for this movie. Like, I would watch some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, like, whenever I saw it on TV, and they did, like, sometimes they would have, like, these half-hour movie scoop shows or something like that, and I remember, like, this was one they, had an episode on. But, so again, I remember the hype around the film, and, seeing some behind-the-scenes of the film. But, damn. So I remember that. But also, too, to mention the video game, Enter the Matrix, which I remember having that on PlayStation 2. And that was a lot of fun back in the day playing that. And I really got caught up in that video game. I don't think I ever beat it, but I remember playing that. And so, yeah, I definitely had some fun memories with the video game. But Overall with this movie, to sort of wrap it up here, Matrix Reloaded to me, I enjoyed a lot. To me, it took some chances, and I liked how they expanded on different aspects of the Matrix and these characters, and again with some new faces in there, like the character of Link, the character of Niobe, the Seraph character, which his character gets killed by Agent Smith, but I like that character. I like that actor. And the budget is used well, especially, with the look of Zion. And again, some of that, some of the stuff with Zion, it's okay, it's there, but it's not the most interesting parts of the film. Uh, I was more into like Neo's journey, so to speak, and uh, but again, great action scenes, especially on the freeway, and then the park fight with the clones was a lot of fun to watch. Rewatching this again, and great special effects. To me, still holds up, but he also has a good blend of practical in there too. And yeah, so, and I don't believe, and again, going back to how this is the worst sequel of all time, or it's fine. Like, it's one thing is that, it's one thing if people don't like the sequels, but to call this and Revolutions the worst, I think you should check out other sequels. Like, have you seen Speed 2? Have you seen Cyborg 2? Have you seen Jaws 4? To me, these are not the worst sequels ever. But even Entertainment Weekly, named it the 25 worst sequels ever made. My ass. Entertainment Weekly. But yeah, so to wrap it up here, again, Matrix Reloaded is a lot of fun. So, and you got some decent features on here. I mean, I haven't checked out all of them, but yeah, great sequel. To me, underrated. So thank you for watching. And next, reviewing Matrix Revolutions. So that's next. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.